It's never too late. That's not a nice phrase to make you feel better. It's a fact, and history proves it over and over, no matter how many times you tell yourself otherwise. People love saying, I'm too old for this now. Too old? Vera Wang designed her first wedding dress at 40. Julia Child didn't publish her first cookbook until she was almost 50. Colonel Sanders was in his 60s, broke, living off a small pension check, when he started building what became one of the biggest restaurant chains in the world. Moses was 80 years old when he stood in front of Pharaoh and led an entire nation out of slavery. 80, not 20, not 30, 80. And he didn't feel ready either. He told his God he wasn't a good speaker, that he wasn't the right man for the job. He went anyway. So who told you it's too late to begin again? Every morning, before your feet even touch the floor, you have a choice. You can carry yesterday's excuses into today, or you can decide that today is the first page of something completely new. Most people choose yesterday. They wake up and immediately reach for their phone, feed their mind with fear, comparison and noise before they've even had the chance to think a single thought of their own. By the time they're fully awake, their mind already belongs to someone else's agenda, someone else's headlines, someone else's idea of what should matter to them today. Imagine, just for a moment, starting your morning differently, in silence, with a plan, with gratitude for simply being alive to try again, not scrolling through other people's highlight reels before you've even brushed your teeth. That single shift, as small as it sounds, changes everything that follows, because how you begin a day quietly decides how you carry yourself through the rest of it. Right now, you can walk away from whatever has been quietly draining you. A relationship that stopped growing years ago but keeps limping forward out of habit. A job that pays the bills but empties your soul a little more every single day, until one morning you look in the mirror and don't fully recognize who's looking back. A version of yourself you've been performing for other people, instead of the one you actually are underneath all of it. You weren't put on this earth just to endure. Enduring is not the same as living. There's a difference between a heart that's still beating and a life that's actually being lived. And most people never stop long enough to notice which one they're doing. They confuse a full schedule with a full life. They confuse being busy with being fulfilled. And by the time they realize the difference, decades have already passed quietly in the background. Right now, you can stop letting fear disguised as caution make every decision for you. You can stop asking for permission to want more. You can stop explaining yourself to people who never even tried. People who gave up on their own dreams so long ago that watching you chase yours makes them uncomfortable. Their comfort is not your responsibility. Your life is. Time doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It never has. The people who eventually changed their lives are not the ones who waited for confidence to show up first. They started scared, started unsure, started imperfect, and let the doing build the confidence instead of waiting for the confidence to build the doing. Confidence was never the starting line. It was always the finish line, built one uncomfortable step at a time. Think about how many people spend their entire lives preparing to live instead of actually living. Always one course away, one certification away, one right moment away from finally starting the thing that matters. And the tragic part is that the preparing never stops, because there will always be one more reason to wait, one more excuse dressed up as wisdom, one more Monday that quietly becomes another Monday and another, until years have gone by disguised as a single ordinary week. Think about this too. Right now, in this exact second, someone somewhere is receiving news that changes everything. A diagnosis, a phone call they didn't expect, a goodbye they didn't see coming. Not to scare you, but to remind you of something you already know and keep forgetting. Nothing is promised past this moment. Not tomorrow morning. Not the someday you keep pushing your dreams into, as if someday were a guaranteed appointment on a calendar you actually control. So if there's a conversation you've been avoiding, have it. If there's a person you need to forgive or ask forgiveness from, do it now. Not through a message, not through someone else. Go and say it yourself, face to face if you can, because some words lose all their weight the moment they pass through a screen instead of a voice. If there's a version of your life you've been rehearsing in your head for years but never actually lived, stop rehearsing. Nobody applauds a performance that only ever happens backstage. At some point, the curtain has to open, even if your hands are shaking, even if you don't know all your lines yet. This is a brand new day. It always is. Another chance to start over. Another chance to chase whatever it is that's been quietly growing inside you this whole time, waiting for you to finally pay attention to it, instead of drowning it out with noise, obligations, and other people's expectations of who you're supposed to be. But here's the part nobody tells you. It has to happen now, not next month, not when things calm down, because things rarely calm down on their own. They only calm down when you stop adding more to the pile. Not when you finally feel ready, because that feeling was never going to arrive first. Now, because paradise was never lost. It was just forgotten, buried under years of waiting for permission that was never going to come from anyone but you. So go, not tomorrow, now. And when you take that first step, don't expect the world to suddenly applaud you. It probably won't. In fact, many people won't understand what you're doing. Some will question it, some will laugh, some will tell you to be realistic, to lower your expectations, to stop dreaming so big. Not because they know your future, but because they surrendered to theirs a long time ago. Your courage reminds them of the life they once imagined for themselves, and that reminder can be uncomfortable. Don't let someone else's limits become the walls around your own life. Remember this: every extraordinary story looked ordinary in the beginning. Every successful business was once a sketch on a piece of paper. Every great invention started as an idea everyone else ignored. Every athlete who stood on a podium first struggled through practices when nobody was watching. Every musician played to empty rooms before playing to thousands. Every writer stared at a blank page. Every leader doubted themselves before anyone else believed in them. The beginning is always quiet. We celebrate the victory but forget the years of invisible work that came before it. We admire the finished building without thinking about the thousands of bricks that had to be laid one at a time. Life works the same way. There is no shortcut around consistency. There is no elevator to purpose. There are only stairs, and every step counts, even the ones that feel painfully small. You don't change your life in one dramatic moment. You change it the first time you choose discipline over distraction. The first time you wake up early instead of hitting snooze. The first time you keep a promise to yourself. The first time you finish what you started. The first time you stop saying, "I'll do it tomorrow." Those moments seem insignificant while they're happening. They don't make headlines. Nobody hands you a trophy. Nobody posts about them. But they are the moments that quietly rewrite the direction of your entire future. Character is built in private long before it's revealed in public. The person you become tomorrow is hidden inside the habits you repeat today. Not your intentions, not your wishes, not your excuses, your habits, because motivation comes and goes like the weather. Some mornings you'll feel unstoppable. Other mornings you'll question everything. If your life depends on motivation, you'll stop every time it disappears. But if it depends on discipline, you'll keep moving whether you feel inspired or not. That's the difference between people who dream and people who build. One waits for the perfect feeling. The other creates results despite imperfect feelings. And understand this: failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the price of success. You will make mistakes. You will choose wrong sometimes. You will trust people who disappoint you. You'll invest time in things that don't work. You'll lose opportunities. You'll have days when nothing seems to go your way. Good, because every mistake teaches something comfort never could. Every closed door forces you to find another path. Every setback reveals whether your commitment was real or only convenient. The strongest trees don't grow because the weather was perfect. They grow because they learned to survive storms. Gold isn't refined in comfort. Diamonds aren't formed without pressure. The same is true for people. The challenges you wish would disappear are often shaping the strength you'll someday be grateful to have. Stop asking why life is difficult. Start asking what life is teaching you. There is wisdom hidden inside almost every disappointment, if you're willing to look for it. Maybe the opportunity you lost was protecting you from something you couldn't see. Maybe the rejection that hurt your pride was redirecting your future. Maybe the delay that frustrated you was preparing you for something your current character couldn't yet carry. Not every unanswered prayer is punishment. Sometimes it's protection. Sometimes it's preparation. Sometimes it's simply timing. The seed doesn't become a tree the day it's planted. It spends months hidden underground where nobody applauds it, nobody notices it, nobody even knows it's growing. Yet beneath the surface, roots are spreading, strength is forming, foundations are being built. If it tried to grow upward before growing downward, the first strong wind would destroy it. Your life has seasons too. There will be seasons of planting, seasons of waiting, seasons of pruning, and seasons of harvest. Don't confuse one season with your entire story. Just because today feels difficult doesn't mean tomorrow cannot become extraordinary. The chapter you're living now is not the conclusion. It's a page, maybe a difficult one, maybe a painful one, but never mistake a single page for the whole book. One day, you'll look back at the struggles that nearly convinced you to quit, and you'll realize they became the very reason you were able to help someone else keep going. Your scars will speak louder than your comfort ever could. Your testimony will carry more weight than your talent, because people connect with authenticity far more than perfection. No one is inspired by someone who never struggled. They're inspired by someone who struggled and refused to stay there. So keep walking, even when progress feels invisible, even when the road is lonely, even when your own mind tells you to give up. Keep going, because every sunrise is proof that darkness has an expiration date. Every heartbeat is proof that your story is still being written. Every breath is another opportunity to become the person you were created to be. The clock is moving whether you act or not. The years will pass whether you chase your purpose or postpone it. 5 years from now will arrive with or without your permission. The only question is this: when that day comes, will you be living the life you chose or the life your excuses chose for you? The decision has always been yours. It still is. So take the step, write the first page, make the phone call, start the business, learn the skill, forgive the person, apologize with sincerity. Read the book, pray with honesty, love without fear, work with excellence, live with intention, because one ordinary decision made today can become the moment your entire future quietly begins to change. Not tomorrow, not someday, today, right here, right now.